All right, I'm not out of breath. I'm just still trying to take in how beautiful and how stunning this thing is. It's a 2020 BMW X3M on loan to me from Apple BMW in York, Pennsylvania. They gave it to me for a few hours, and I'm just so ecstatic about how beautiful this thing is. From this amazing red metallic kind of orange paint to these stunning 21-inch wheels. And then you'll get a sound and an idea of what this engine sounds like. Here's a teaser real quick though. Yeah, 473 horsepower turbo inline 6-cylinder. And a quick reminder too, just by the way, this isn't just an X3 that's like wrapped in some fun M lettering and a fun M calipers or something. No. This is an actual X3M. Look, it says it right there, X3M on the grille. This has the sport history, the nice lineage, that strong heritage and reputation for amazing sport ability, combined with the utility and the versatility of the already great X3. So after we give you an idea of what it looks like on the outside and what sort of things the engine can do, what it sounds like, we'll bring you in here to show off this stunning interior. Then take you out on the road as well, get an idea what it sounds like, how it drives, how it handles. But first, before we get going, please hit that subscribe button. Let us know what else you want to see here on the channel, what other kind of fun cars you're trying to review yourself and want to see videos of. We'll try to get a hold of them for you. Without further ado though, I think it's time to take this puppy out for a spin. So I wanted to start down here to kind of show you in real life how tall and how big these rims are. I'm sitting down next to them. They are 21 inches big. That's pretty large for a rather small SUV. Beautiful, nice M emblem right in the center there. Nice charcoal kind of maybe gunmetal gray, blacked out rims. Obviously something particular and specific to the MX3 or the X3M. But the other main focus, of course, these huge calipers on all four wheels. Your eyes are just like instantly drawn to them. Adding to both the performance ability and just the overall visibility and the awesome, sexy look of this X3M. Those calipers are just insane. And as I've been chilling here, kind of checking out this stunning X3M from all angles, my eyes are drawn to this thing right here. Yeah, this air vent. Or is it? The answer is it is not. It is not a real air vent. Your finger stops about ½ an inch in, and it's all plastic too. It looks like it's nice, brilliant metal kind of chrome. It's not. On an $80,000 car, no thanks. Let's talk about these exhaust pipes, quad exhaust pipes, 2 on either side. It looks sexy, it sounds sexy, it sounds aggressive, it sounds insane. And guess what? They're huge. I mean, look at my head. Either way, they are beautiful, they're stunning, they're shiny, and they're not fake. Sometimes there's like fake tips on cars to save costs. These are all 4 very real exhaust pipes. Stunning, mwah. Beautiful touch. So I have the camera placed at the far side of the engine bay. Look how far away I look. It's insane. I'm a good like 4 feet away. That's because this engine is so large. I mean, it's not huge, but it's a large engine for a small SUV, a mid-size SUV. Again, an inline 6-cylinder with 473 horsepower, 440 pound-feet of torque, good for a 0 to 60 sprint of about 4 to 4.5 seconds, depending on what driving mode and what kind of driver experience you have on board. But the X3M Competition, which is the only package and trim that this thing does not have, adds 30 more horsepower and a 0 to 60 sprint of, get this, 3.3 seconds. It's absurdly quick, and it's almost maybe too much power for the average everyday driver. Maybe the weekend enthusiast would eventually use it sometime, but I think the person who can afford one of these things and the person who wants to drive one of these things isn't going to be racing and ripping down the interstate in their $80,000 SUV that they just got. And the gas mileage is right on par from where you'd probably think it is, about 19, 20 on the highway, about 15, 16 or so, depending on the gas that you use in city driving. And if you're into details like I am, you pay attention to them no matter where they are, right? Take a look at this. It says BMW Adaptive LED right here on the side of this headlight unit. They are self-leveling and they kind of follow the road as you are driving along, adapting to whatever scenario, whatever driving setting you are in. And actually, one more thing before we go here, the BMW X3M has available rear-wheel drive or X-Drive, which is their 4-wheel drive system in all the BMWs. There also is a setting on these that can actually send 100% of the car's torque to the rear wheels. So essentially, if you want to make it a rear-wheel drive car, you sort of can, depending on what mode and what setting you are in. So all kinds of customizable options under the hood, in addition to customizable options inside. Let's go check those out. So getting in this thing is as inviting as it's ever going to get in a luxury vehicle, in my opinion, unless you get, some kind of Rolls Royce or something crazy. Instantly, your eyes are drawn to, at least in this car, the ivory white merino leather. It's so soft and looks just so luxurious, and it looks so rich and expensive. And it is. It's like the top of the line luxury leather option that they have. Let's actually turn the car on, and the start-stop button is actually at an angle on the center dashboard facing the driver, obviously, but it's at the perfect angle for the path that your finger and your arm will take to turn it on. And the familiar BMW sounds as the car turns on here. But let's talk about some of these interior features. It's just insane. Take a look at this at the steering wheel. Look at this. An M1 and an M2 button. Those are for actually customizing the drive modes of your car. It's kind of like memory seats. You know what position you want the seat to be in, depending on what driver's driving. The M1 and the M2, you can customize the ride for how you want it to be. It can be a nice comfort mode on M1 and Sport Plus on M2. But like I said, look at that nice M1 and M2 button, a nice splash of color against all the dark kind of surrounding colors as well. The only colors you have really that are up here, other than black, white, and gray, the red start and stop and your M1 and M2 buttons. Really, really stunning. You just push the M1 button, and right there, see in the center, your M1 goes off, your M1 goes on. M2, same with that button, push that, and it goes right to the different stabilization modes that you want. And see, your center screen changes as well. If you want to configure M1 or M2, all you got to do is go down here, push the setup button, push setup, and up top, you can configure M1 and M2 to be exactly what you want. Like I said, your suspension, your different steering wheel feel, all that is right there as well. Just push those and you can configure and set, and it'll save whatever you make it for all kinds of driving configurations. There's nice little details stitched and etched physically and metaphorically into every inch of this car to let you know, hey, you are driving an M-inspired X3. Also on the steering wheel, the nice M emblem at the bottom there, your heated steering wheel. And take a look at this over here, just beneath the M1 button. All of your different driving safety amenities, your collision warning system, your lane keep assist, your adaptive cruise control. And on the other side, of course, all your infotainment buttons that you could want, volume, phone. And while we're up here, let's talk about this 12.3-inch display. The gasoline tank over here on the left, the speedometer, which goes up to 200 miles per hour. All the different options in the center for your driving modes, and then off to the right, the tachometer with the X3M phrasing and logo. It's just beautiful, nice accented colors all around, and it really kind of all comes together to, again, remind you, you are driving an X3M. Don't forget it. So let's also talk about the seats in the front here. They are 14-way power adjustable seats on both sides. And not only do they move in every possible way you could ever really want, they're insanely huggable. They hug the crap out of your legs. I'm a taller guy, kind of a wider hipped guy, and the seats are nicely high bolstered, really keep you in place for that sportier type of driving around turns. They're nice and firm. They're soft also where they need to be, which is great. Of course, got the quintessential classic BMW thigh support, little slab of leather that can move out there on both sides. And check this out. Whenever you're, nodding off with your ventilated seats on and just waiting for someone to come out of the store, you've got a reminder that you're rich. So I'm not going to talk about all the crazy climate control options and the different things that you can do with all your buttons on the steering wheel and the things on the side door, because they're pretty self-explanatory. But I do need to dive in for a second here to this center gauge gear shifter thing. And I don't know why I said gauge, but it looks so odd that I'm kind of thrown off. It's beautiful to look at, it's aesthetically pleasing, but I'll tell you what, that's where the ease ends. It's not terribly easy or functional to figure out at all, in my opinion. Again, I'm not someone who loves these crazy futuristic gear shifters or all these digitized options. It's just too much. Give me a standard park, reverse, neutral, drive, manumatic option. That's all I really need. Anyway, that being said, let's take a look at this. Look at the top of this right here. This is buttons for changing the transmission feel. You can change how soft, how nice, how smooth, how fast it shifts depending on what kind of mode you want. Sitting still, it doesn't do a whole lot, but that's the buttons up top here. Beneath that is a nice map and outlaying of the different gears. Reverse, neutral, couple of plus and minus symbols, and then DS. It's just a lot going on, folks. I don't know how else to break it to you. It's a little tough to figure out. You'd think with your foot on the brake, pulling it towards you would do something. It does not. It stays in place. You have to push it all the way over to the left to get it to go to neutral, okay? So there's neutral, and then from there, you've got to push it up to get to reverse, okay? So there is up for reverse. That's never happened before. You don't ever get to neutral before you get to reverse, but you do in this car. To get it to go to drive, all the way over to the right, okay? So over one click is D1. That's auto driving. Over even further to the right, though, is 1. That's gear 1. That's for like your manual driving mode. So you could accidentally hit it over all the way to 1 all the time if you're not paying attention, and then be like, why is the car revving so high? This sounds interesting. It definitely takes some getting used to and some kind of finesse and repetitive trying to get this down. These cars are expensive. The folks who can afford them might not be as mechanically and technology inclined to figure this stuff out, even if a salesperson tells them. Down here, all those buttons near the gear shifter are really laid out really nicely, almost look like they're leveled with the dash right here, and it really is beautiful. I love how nice the buttons feel. They feel rich, they feel tough, they feel well made, and they are. This button here, by the way, is your exhaust. It's 2 tailpipes. You push that and it changes the sound of the exhaust. You really can't tell on camera, but I'll show you later. That's the exhaust button. You got your parking sensors, and this is your full camera. Let's push that. And check this out. It gives you a full screen image of the outside cameras. This is the front camera. Just stunning quality, really high resolution. So many of these screens are not good at all, but like you can tell that's a Dodge Caravan without any zooming in really at all. Again, it makes viewing so much easier. So one fun fact, even though that iDrive 7 is out for several other BMW models, this X3M actually only has iDrive 6, and there's a reason for that. BMW already had it configured really well with the M setup for this gauge cluster, so there is only iDrive 6 in this, even though iDrive 7 does exist for other 2020 models. But it works very similar to all the other iDrive systems that you would have used in other BMWs of different years. Pretty easy to customize anything inside this car. The ambient lighting, the different parking options, the car will park itself in certain areas. There's different options for the Harman Kardon sound system, which, by the way, thumps. It sounds incredible. I am going to complain about these very small mirrors. As someone with a large head, it's hard to fit it all in there. Yeah, I can't. Look how small that thing is. It's insanely small. It's a normal size visor, but look how small it is. Look at this key. That's a piece of artwork and craftsmanship just on its own. A beautiful BMW X3M key. So here in the back seat, just as luxurious, just as at home and comfortable, as you are in the front seat. Take a look at this leather. It's stunning. Nice center inserts here, kind of perforated leather, this merino leather, super high quality. And look, my favorite thing, check this out. These manual sunshades on both sides, perfect for having kids in the back seat or even an adult if you want to. They're just perfect. I think every car, no matter what the price range, should have sunshades. They're just excellent amenities to have in the back. You do lose a little bit of leg room in the center seat here if you are the person sitting here because of the powertrain that does go back for the all-wheel drive, the X-Drive in this X3. This is the hump I was talking about. If you're going to be sitting in the center seat, you may have some squished leg room because of this large center hump. Nonetheless, you do have your heated seats back here. You of course got the different controls as well for your climate control, your different vents, your heated seats. The sides, look at this. Check this out. They're on both sides, brushed aluminum X's. They look like something from the future, from a movie, maybe from The Matrix, something with an X, X-Men. It's stunning, nice brushed aluminum. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like, you know, they got it out of some cheap parts bin and stuck it in here. I love kind of the tri-colors we've got going on here. Take a wide shot of this door. Nice black charcoal up top, a wood grain insert, then some brushed aluminum, then even more white merino leather. Combination is just beautiful. And of course, above you, a large panoramic sunroof with a sunshade that runs the entire length of the interior passenger cabin. I also forgot to mention that you can recline these back seats. Check this out. Just beneath the seat cushion on each side is a little lever. Just push on this and you can recline both seats either side to exactly where you want it to be for your reclining comfort. So here in the cargo area, you don't have as much room as you might expect or want in a BMW X3M, and that is because there is a physical, real-life spare tire underneath this back shelf. Most BMWs of this caliber have, you know, run-flat tires that self-seal and self-heal if they go flat or get a hole in them. Not the case on this X3M. It has different kind of tires, which means you need a physical spare tire in case you ever are distressed out on the road. If you take a look at this, there is a rather large lip to house this spare tire, and that does unfortunately cut in to your overall cargo space. That being said, there is enough room back here for, I would say, maybe 4 medium-size carry-on luggage suitcases, some duffel bags. One thing that is rather easy to do back here from the cargo area is putting down the second row seats. Super easy. The pull of a lever right here, there's one on each side. Pull this, and the seats go right down. They go down about 60-40 flat. Both sides go down. There's another lever over there. Plenty of room then to haul stuff. Just remember, you do have this lip back here, but doesn't really get into the way whenever you have the entire car folded flat. So behind the wheel of this thing, it's just impossible to not have fun. I mean, it's such a joy and a dream to drive. I mean, listen to this thing. It's unbelievable. It shoves you back into your chair. Oh my God. A little bit of adrenaline rush there. But this thing turns heads wherever you go. It's unbelievable how much power and how much just visibility power this thing has too, right? I mean, that's part of driving a luxury car, people staring at you. But this car, depending on what driving mode you have it set in, is very nimble on its feet and very, I guess, absorbing of undulations and different kind of imperfections in the roadway. I'm doing some city driving, as I said, right now, and it's very at home. The RPMs definitely do want to hold themselves a little longer than city driving is used to, because this car is not meant to be just a city kind of residential cruiser, right? You're meant to be out on the open road, punching this thing and making it work and making it go fast. Just the slightest throttle makes this thing downshift and, you know, just hum. It sounds incredible. The different driving modes are great, but they're a little bit overwhelming, a little bit over the top. There's almost too many driving modes to choose from for me. I mean, take it from the sport mode to the sport mode plus to the comfort mode. There are so many different modes you could set this thing in, and it's almost like, what do I choose? And it'd be easier if there was just kind of 1 or 2 to really choose from. And depending again too, what mode you have this thing in, sport mode, sport plus, comfort, the suspension, kind of the damping changes as in most cars, and it's definitely noticeable in this thing too. What's also noticeable is whenever you turn on or off the exhaust sound, the exhaust, I guess, amplification you could call it, you can hear it go on and go off. The car definitely gets quieter or louder depending on what you do. The steering, very responsive, incredibly smooth, silky smooth almost. This car is easy to drive as far as being out on the road, but it almost feels effortless. It feels weightless. The only thing that reminds you it's got some grunt and some beef to it is the sound, the small hum, the settle hum of the engine, which you always hear, and of the exhaust obviously as well. So with the BMW X5 plug-in hybrid that I reviewed a few weeks ago, you can check it out right here, that car was definitely more of your everyday traditional, you know, Sunday driver, if you want to call it that, right? Not the enthusiast type of car at all. This is the enthusiast vehicle if there ever was one. The X3M has all of the amazing capabilities and tradition that the M lineup brings. And again, a straight inline 6-cylinder turbo engine. There's no electronic motor on this, so there is a little bit of turbo lag. It's not a ton, but there's definitely some there. But again, when you're driving a car like this, I mean, you can deal with the half a second of turbo lag. At least I can. I'm not that picky. These bolstered, high bolstered seats are just unbelievably comfortable and super conforming to your body. Again, a little tight, a little small if you're a wider hipped person like I am. That being said, they're super comfortable. 14-way power adjustable seats on both sides. I know there's safety features like adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, front crash mitigation to keep you not distracted, but there's so many things to make you distracted at the same time. I mean, from the gorgeous big displays to all the fun buttons you could touch. I don't know what else there is to kind of say about it other than it's a superbly easy car to drive performance-wise, and that ease of driving gives you such a reward of performance. It's just incredible. You don't really have to work for it at all. So I think that will do it for this review of a 2020 BMW X3M, the first time ever an X3M was offered for 2020 body year. That's amazing that this combination now exists. Performance, utility, versatility, all in one beautifully stunning package. Thanks so much for watching. Hit this video with a big thumbs up if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. I appreciate any and all support so far. Let us know in the comments below, by the way, what else you want to see. Are there other BMWs you want to check out? We'll try to get hold of them for you. That is it, and we will see you, of course, as always, next time.